All right, we're back. So Let's Talk Shop Russ is back again. We'll see if this one's going to work. The first one we tried to do did not work. We couldn't get our chat up or people in the chat section to be able to see this. I had to totally start a new show. And hold on, I'm getting a feedback from. Had to totally start a new show. Had to get rid of that. So, but I'm hoping that this will work. Up, we got 10 viewers. So guess what? This one's up and running. So yeah, we had, I don't know what happened for all those of you out there. We started the other show, and for some reason we had it going in here. We could see each other and talk. It showed that we were live, but and we could see y'all over in the chat, but y'all couldn't see the show. So unfortunately, I don't know. It was a YouTube flub up. It wasn't nothing we did or I did or anything. There's some reason the first show did not go through. We're hoping enough of y'all come back. Sorry about that. If you check over onto the YouTube channel now, our guest tonight, Steve Garrison, I've sent him the link. Hopefully he will be back. Let me put on. We're just going to have to bear with us. We're not going to have much of a show if we can't get our guest in.
Please stand by.
Yeah. So
well, Charles can sing.
Yeah, do what?
Charles can sing for us.
Yeah, the first one totally just was a flop.
Bite your tongue, Chris.
We can only go up from there then.
All right, Chris, that noise was coming from you because Charles was muted and it kept coming through. So I muted you and it quit.
Yeah, we were muted too.
Yeah.
We were muted during that too.
I will take the hit with my hit.
Anyway, we are live. And sorry, guys, we're trying to get Steve Garrison back in here so we can have a show. I was going to say is the Whirligig contest is over, and y'all couldn't even hear none of that, so I might as well start all over. The Whirligig contest is ended on the 20th. I will get a hold of Lainey Shaughnessy, and we are going to try our best to get the judging done this week, and next week is the 29th, which is our Halloween special, so we can make the announcements as to the winners on the show next weekend. This is not set in stone, so don't hold me to it. It might have to be postponed until the following weekend, but I'll try to get a hold of Lainey so we can get the judging done this week. And for the Whirligig Wars, now that's all we're judging is the Whirligig Wars this week. And so we can get all the information out on the 29th. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that done. The next thing is the scroll saw contest is still going till the 31st, so you have plenty of time to enter that, and there's plenty of time to make something. And that's all of the two things that I needed to say. We're still waiting. Let me see if go back on. Trying to get Steve in here. I was supposed to have, you know what, the funny thing about it is I met so many people at the Makers Fair in Orlando today that said they were brand new and they're going to be here tonight to join or see my show. And this happens and it doesn't work. So trust me, like I said, once again, it wasn't anything I did or whatever. We started the show the same exact way we always start the show, and it just did not pick up. We were live. It was telling us it was live, but y'all couldn't see it over there. And we could see y'all in the chat. We could talk to y'all, but y'all couldn't actually see the show. So Jim Bashir's out there. Donna Presley, thank y'all for being Steve French. All y'all, thank y'all for coming back and try to join us. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people missing the show. So if y'all could kind of like for y'all over in the chat, kind of like post around the link for the show on Facebook or on YouTube, so maybe other people can find it. I would appreciate that. Once again, we're waiting on people to get in.
Hey, Rusty, I have somebody asking how I did it. How do you mind if I tell them?
Hold on.
All right.
Stand. All right, Steve's having some problems. Man, this is really great. First time, and we're going to have I was going to have new people here, and we're having such a mess up tonight.
And my mom was going to watch tonight.
I know, it's so terrible.
Well, we could go ahead and get the introduction done and the sponsors done. Steve,
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's a good idea. Thank you, Russ. I appreciate that. Go ahead and we'll start off with Brian. Introduce yourself. Tell us where we can find you and get that out of the way while we're waiting for Steve.
Hi, I'm Brian Gidney. I'm with Summers Woodworking. You can find me over on YouTube under Summers Woodworking or at my website at summerswoodworking.co.
Great. And now Charles.
Howdy, I'm Charles Deering. Okay, the echo's gone. Cool. Who am I? I am Charles Deering. I am woodenvisions.com. And on here on YouTube where you're seeing this, what am I? Charles Deering Scroll. And all my on woodenvisions.com, all my social media links, if I could learn to talk, are on there. And real quick, Steve French wanted to know how I did at the show today. I made $475, mainly little stuff, but I won't hog up the show with that unless y'all ask later. And Russ lets me talk about it. Thanks for having me, Russ. You're muted, Russ.
I said I didn't get a chance to ask you about that because of all the things that we've had going on. It's crazy. So that was good. Very, very good. Did you announce? I was typing at the same time. Did you announce how much you sold today? Charles.
Sorry, it was freezing up on me. I made $475, and believe it or not, I only sold one large item for $80, and the rest of them were all crosses and about 3 or 4 pins. I was very surprised to have made that much.
That's good. Fantastic.
Thank you very much, sir.
And next is Chris Ahearn.
Hey guys, yeah, it's Chris from the Old Cranky Workshop. You can find me on YouTube and Facebook under Old Cranky Workshop. Congratulations, Charles. Crosses, huh? I know I moved to Tennessee. I'm making crosses. So, good job, man.
Cool. And next is Donald.
Howdy, howdy. Things is freezing up over here. I don't know if it's everybody else or not. Anyway, I'm Donald Matthews, also known as Donald Vlogrify. You can find me on YouTube, Donald Vlogrify's Wood Shop. You can find my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook all there on my YouTube channel. And I have a website called redneckknowhow.com. I think that's it.
Okay, good. And then not good. Yeah, I'm glad you shut up. Never mind. Anyway, John Shaffner.
Hi, guys. John Shaffner here up in Central New York, where I'm freezing my tail feathers off tonight. You can find me on Facebook under my name, on YouTube under my name. And if you don't mind, Russ, I want to plug Sterling Davis. He was rushed to the hospital yesterday with gallbladder problems. Apparently they operated on him. He's out of surgery. He's doing fine. Just keep him in his prayers and well wishes and all that stuff. He should be home soon.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot because of all the hullabaloo here trying to get the show back up and running. I forgot about that. But yeah, I read it today for the first time. I think it was a post on Facebook that just said going into surgery, and I was at the Makers Fair in Orlando, and so I didn't have time to respond. Then I couldn't find it back in my feed. So a couple people when we first opened the show informed me of that. But yeah, if you could say a little prayer for Sterling. Glad he'd come out of surgery and is doing well, but I haven't never had gallbladder surgery, but I heard it's not a joyride. So next is Russ Meadows.
Hey everybody, Russ Meadows. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Rusty Nails Wood Shop. That'll do it.
Cool. And then Shane and Shelly.
Hi everyone, Shelly Cole here. Some of you know me as Mom from the YouTube channel Know What Mom Knows. And I'm on Instagram as Know What Mom Knows. I had to think there for a second. Twitter is Mom Tweets. It's only because I didn't know how to do Know What Mom Knows back then. So Mom Tweets. And then I have a Facebook page called Know What Mom Knows. And if you want to know what Mom knows, check out my channel. All right. And there's going to be some new activity on my channel. I've got a couple series starting soon, and you'll all hear about it hopefully in the next week, because I've been getting organized and learning some stuff along the way, and it's going to be fun.
Hi everybody, I'm Shane from Shane's Hobby Shop, and no, Russ and Donald, I'm not going to fall for y'all today, so I'm minding my P's and Q's. But yes, you can find me on all your social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that, under Shane's Hobby Shop. Come check me out and let me know you're there. I'd like to say hi to you.
All righty then. There's a lot of people say it's lagging a little, but I'm getting the feed perfect over on, I'm watching YouTube in the chat over here, so I'm getting it perfectly on that end. But just high out there, Jim Bashir's is over there, Jerry's Machines, TJ's Woodworking, Wacky Woodworks, Opa's Workshop, Diane Carpenter. I think she might be a new one. Have y'all heard of her being on here before? Diane Carpenter, that sounds like a new one. Katie Dotson. Hi, Katie. Glad you're over there with us. And Debbie Shipman. I think that's your friend, isn't it, Shelly? Debbie Shipman.
Go ahead. What now? I'm sorry. Pardon me?
Debbie Shipman. You know her?
No, but the what's
Brian.
the Miss Carpenter? Yeah, Diane Carpenter's on there quite a bit.
Oh, okay. Well, that shows how observant I am. So.
Hi,
Anyway,
Diana.
Everybody out there, just wanted to say hi to all y'all. We appreciate you out there. Appreciate you watching and chatting. And we're fixing to get, I don't think we have anybody else. We talked about Charles and his thing. Oh, I was going to mention real quick before we get to Steve, the Makers Fair. Daryl, which is hopefully will be on here shortly. He was supposed to have already been here. But I got off from the Makers Fair in Orlando a little early so I could come home and start the show. And then he had to stay until 7 o'clock to watch our booths. And once 7 o'clock, he could leave, and then they were going to lock it up, and they have guards to keep an eye on all the stuff that all the makers leave there at night. But had a real great time, had about 6 or 8 people that actually knew me and watched my YouTube channel, which I thought was amazing. I mean, and it was a constant flow of people. I'm not even going to begin to guess, because I will tell you literally hundreds of people come through there. And it was kind of funny is Daryl and I were side by side in booths. I had my scroll saw set up, and he had a lathe where he was doing some turning. And as soon as one of us, if I would start making something on the scroll saw and doing the demonstration, I get about 10 to 15 people right around me at the scroll saw watching me do the demonstration. And if he'd start turning something on the lathe, about 10 or 15 people right around him and start watching him on the lathe and asking questions and stuff. It really went very, very well. I was kind of hesitant at first. I was like, wow, we're really going to have that many people? And I can honestly say it was never ending, the amount of people that was coming through. There's actually 3 pavilions, and all 3 pavilions house, I mean, these are like almost warehouses, all these makers in there. So there's a lot of people, makers, 3 buildings of makers. And we had quite a bit. I'm going to say 1,000 or thousands. That's how many people. Literally, it was a nonstop of people coming through.
That had to have been
Very,
distracting with these people going.
very interesting. I had a good time. We're going back tomorrow. I'm sporting my new shirt that I designed, and Russ Meadows' wife, she did the thing for me and sent them to me so I could wear them this weekend. So, and I didn't tell you all about the little dangly thing. This stupid thing is you have to wear it to get in and out at the Maker's Fair. And they told us it won't come off. I'm trying to get it off. Daryl tried to get his off. And they told us if you're not wearing it, you can't get back in. So I got to take a shower tonight with this stupid thing. So it's going to be interesting. And you get your little Maker's card or whatever. It's really, really fun. So, but glad y'all are over there. Let's get down to Steve, the man of the hour. I will take it off of me. And how you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Russ?
I can't actually hear you. Can anybody else hear him?
I'm not muted.
Yeah, we can hear him good.
Okay. Well, it's just, guess what? I'm the one that's having problems on the end. So,
clean your
yeah, I'm like, it's one thing after another tonight. So, are you all here? I'll lock on you. Are you all set up and ready to go over the helix? Are you going over helix spirals?
Al said out there in the chat that he could hear him too, so just so everybody knows he's being heard there.
If y'all can hear him, I guess you don't care less about hearing me. So if y'all can hear him, that's fine. All right. Well, take it away.
Okay. I'm Steve Garrison. My website is spiralsbysteve.com. And on YouTube, I'm under Steve Garrison. And on Facebook, I've got a page that I run, Scroll Saw Shells. And that's me.
Cool. Well, you said you were going to do the helix. I think it's helix coils.
Yeah, helix. I got my saw set up to make a simple one. I showed this briefly last time. I don't remember if you remember this or not, but this was all one solid piece. And I got this way of cutting this on a scroll saw. Saw the middle out into a helix, and I'll make a simple one here. Y'all ready for that?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I got to reposition the camera.
One question real quick that I have, does it matter about the kind of wood that you use? Have you made enough of them to know that some woods work better than others or anything like that?
It's something it's going to be like real thin. It's best to use a hardwood like maple or cherry or something like that. It is going to be made of pine, and they're not quite as strong. They'll break a lot easier. So I'm just making one cut tonight. It'll be plenty strong, just being made out of pine if it's just one helix.
Okay, so if you're going to do multiple cuts, then you get either like a harder wood.
Yeah, you'd want to use maple or something like that, something harder and stronger.
Great. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'll have to reposition this camera. Let's see what the camera's looking at. Okay.
On that camera.
It's an old squeaky tripod. This is the dowel I'm going to make it from. The helix pattern is not drawn on the wood. It's just drawn on a piece of paper. It's wrapped around the wood and taped down. And this right here is the fence that hold the blade a constant distance from the center. And then up here I've got, I can't see it. I've got this magnet. It's got a black mark on it. I keep that lined up with the line that's on this pattern. And so that way I don't have to saw the pattern up itself. I can have it offset. I'll follow the line with this little pointer down here, and I won't have to cut my pattern up. So I've already got this set up, with our cracked offset angle. So I'll just go ahead and start sawing it.
Is there an angle? Do you set the table in an angle or is it flat?
I've got the bevel set at about 32 degrees right now. I've got a computer program that lets me design these. I wrote it in a Microsoft Excel, and depending on how that turns out, it gives me the variables, the bevel angle and the offset to set the saw up at to get the results. What I've got in Excel. Any more questions before I get started?
Anybody on the panel have any questions? Everybody shaking their head no, so go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. You see it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Might want to explain what you're doing.
Okay. I'm just following this line on the pattern with this magnetic pointer, and it's just kind of twisting it down into the blade. This will take a few minutes to get to the other end.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure how he was going to do this, but while he's doing this, I will narrate just a little bit. But because I was shaking my head because I got his book, but I haven't had time to read it. But what he's doing is he's just turning and feeding that dowel into the blade slowly, and pushing it down so it will follow that spiral pattern all the way up that dowel. And so if you notice, he's got the blade set a distance off of his fence, so probably about a half. I want to say looking at a ½ inch because it don't go all the way through that the wooden dowel. So it's probably a ½ inch. He's got it set off. That is about the neatest thing I've ever seen. I can't wait to see this when it's finished.
I'm curious on this with that rotary axis that Dave Gatton's got. Could that be done with that CNC and that rotary axis?
It could, but I mean, think about it. They don't make a bit that I know of that's as thin as a skull saw blade.
Right, right.
So it would make, instead of making like hairlines, it would be making cuts. It would be more like grooves. I'm sure that it would probably work though.
Now, there is one question in the chat room. This is from Steve French. Want to know if you're using a straight blade or a spiral blade?
I'm sure it's flat. I'm almost positive it's flat.
Like
Yeah, we'll confirm it after he gets through, but I'm 99.9% sure that it's flat. Yeah, I just don't see a spiral blade working like this or doing what he's wanting to do. Because if you'll think about it, when he held that other one up in the air, you've seen how nice and pretty the cuts and the spirals were. That's awesome, the fence he's got set up. Now, that fence, I do know those are magnets. Can't think of the brand name of them, but they're magnets, and you twist them and they lock it down, and you untwist them, they release. Because the table on those DeWalt 788s is a cast iron table, so it'll lock right on those.
That's pretty neat. You just follow the line with the other side. Occasionally you look over the blade maybe, but you just follow the line.
Yeah, Yeah, that is very, very cool.
To break it up. Now what happened is, since this table is beveled at a 32-degree angle, the blade, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, the blade is in contact, with the top edge of the cylinder before it's in contact with the bottom edge. And so as I'm rotating this thing around, twisting it in, the point where the blade first makes contact rotates around, and the blade comes back out the cylinder along the same path that it goes in.
So that piece just broke?
Yeah, I broke it out from the rest of the dowel.
Okay.
Because it was cutting right along the center line. But in pine, the sawdust sticks to it, so I have to blow it off.
Right.
But this piece, comes out of the center.
Well, if that ain't about the coolest thing I've ever seen.
And it goes all the way through.
That is pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to try that later tonight. I
Isn't
got
that
one
awesome?
flat blade.
It's a spiral blade.
It is.
Oh, it is a spiral? It is?
Yeah,
Well,
it is a spiral.
Well, you know what I said? I bet 90% sure that it was a flat blade, so don't I look like a doofus?
We got a lot of
flat blade
spirals, so I'm gonna try it.
I would have swore that would have been. Have you ever tried it with a flat blade?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So it takes us. That's pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
you probably said it once already, but how far away is your blade from your fence line?
It's right at maybe somewhere around 3/8 to 1/2 inch.
I said a 1/2 inch by looking at it, so I was pretty close.
Yeah, this is a what kind of blade am I using? It's Olson flat end universal number 4.041 36 teeth per inch spiral.
Hold that up to the camera a little bit better, and maybe that people can.
That's what kind of blade I'm using.
Okay, cool. So that people can see what it is.
You did say the table was at a 32-degree angle?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what.
Yes, the table's tilted, so when the blade is cutting through, it's cutting through at an angle, which makes.
No, there seemed to be some discussion over there in the chat. That's the reason why I asked that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely tilted at 32 degrees is a pretty strong tilt.
Yeah, it could be more or less, just depending on what you want it to look like.
Right.
But if you'll notice, there's only one line.
Do you know of a degree point to where like it falls off where it won't work? Let's say if you get like 4 degrees it don't work, or 10 degrees it don't work, or have you tried some different degrees?
Everything I've tried has been over like around 25 degrees or more.
Okay.
Pitch, the distance between each of the turns, distance between the high point, in this case it's just under 1 inch. And if you tilt the blade, tilt the table further, you can make the pitch longer, because you're essentially going to have the blade coming out the bottom along the same line that it went in along the top.
Right. That is just awesome.
I was really surprised when I first tried this. Wasn't really sure what it was going to do. But the edge, get it back apart. Oh, it's left-hand threads.
Oh, left-hand threads.
I was trying to screw it the wrong way, but let me take something out of
I'm
here.
glad Charles ain't on here.
I'm I'm glad my microphone was muted.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. Yeah, Charles is worse than Donald, but Donald's pretty bad himself. So.
If you take a straight edge, I'll just use the edge of this card here, and you put it on there a certain way. Then you try to get that where the camera can see it. The straight edge touches all the way across, at that same angle. That represents, where the blade was.
Right.
Since the blade's straight.
Yeah.
That's where the blade went across, and it just, twisted through it.
Wow. Do you mind cutting some more?
I can do another one. It'll look the same because that's what I've got it set up on. But
well, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, I can go a bit further with it.
Yeah.
I'll just take this pointer and move it down to a different spot. I think the camera's out of focus. Okay. Yeah, this would just be more of the same. But
for those of you who are on the panel can hear me, Temple Boy Turnings wanted to know what speed is he cutting. So I won't forget when he gets unmuted and can hear us, make sure we ask him that question. Yeah, we will ask him what speed he's using when he gets through with this cut, guys.
Scroll saws have different speeds.
Yes. Yeah, the DeWalt DW788 he's using goes from a real slow speed to a real high speed. Steve.
Yeah.
What speed are you cutting at on that saw? All the way open or halfway or?
Let's see. Let me put my eyes on. It's going pretty fast just so it doesn't catch. It's a variable speed, varies from 1 to 8. I've got it just above 5.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that is in strokes per minute.
Right.
I have to stop here because my pattern is getting jammed underneath my hold down and it's causing it to bind.
Oh, okay.
But
that is awesome, though.
Yeah, and if I was doing this in like a maple or something stronger, it would I could make another cut. If this centerpiece was still attached to that dowel, I could run it back through and cut another one of these out of the middle of this one.
Wow.
Which is what this one right here is. This one is there's like 4 of them cut out of the dowel. This was the outer one. And I've got this one. I made a jig that was motorized that holds the dowel between centers like a lathe, and had like a little low-speed gearhead motor that turned it, and it cut all these pieces out for me, all out of one piece.
Now this is all.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Shane.
I was just saying that is freaking awesome. I like that.
Now this is all. Everything you did today is explained in your book, correct?
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, go ahead and plug your website and your books real quick so they can hear it.
Okay. The website again is spiralsbysteve.com. And the ebook I've got on the Helix forums, I think that's I think I got it at $24.99. But if you'll hold up before you do that, I will set up a discount code again like we did last week and give you a discount.
That would be great. Yeah, if you go to spiralsbysteve.com and you go over to it's home shells. Where are they at? Ebooks. Follow all the links down. It says ebooks. You click on the ebooks and scroll down. He has box jointed tiles, generating gears and wood shells in a new art form, how to make helix forms with your scroll saw, and making segmented spears. Those all are books that he has for sale on his website. And I bought, he gave us the coupon code last week. I personally bought the wooden shells and the helix forms last week. So
You had a chance to look at that yet?
I haven't had a chance, but
It's like you've been pretty busy.
yeah, we were so busy this week. I was so busy setting up to do the Maker's Fair that we just didn't have a chance. And so we can hear that Daryl is here. We can hear you. Daryl, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome.
Howdy, Daryl.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, man.
So,
While I'm thinking about it, Jim Bashir's had a question out there asking if you could do this on a straight blade if you angled the fence to the blade. I'm not sure exactly what he was talking about.
He was asking me?
No, he was asking Steve.
I don't think it'll work. It's got to be a spiral, I think. I've tried it before with without using a spiral. It just didn't work.
I think you need a spiral for it to be able to cut all the way around.
Well, you know, when I first thought, I said I could have almost bet I was thinking that the flat blade was doing but now that when he said spirals, it makes sense because it's actually cutting a little gap, and you know what I'm saying? It's leaving a little bit further, a wider kerf than a flat blade would work. And you're right, it's cutting 360 degrees around that as it's cutting.
And I think the back of the blade would probably have a tendency to get hung up.
Yeah.
If it goes through the wood.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daryl, I didn't mean to.
I'm pretty tired. I've been sleeping the last few days. I've been up late making stuff.
Yeah, well, me and Daryl, just a few minutes, we'll talk about that. We're going to run over it. Guys, if y'all are watching, we got everybody out there on the chat. We're going to go run over a little bit tonight since we had troubles, Daryl, before you got here. When we first started, the show wouldn't start on YouTube. We were talking and everything, and everybody, the chat was going, but they couldn't see us. We had to start the whole show all over again.
It was that DOS attack from Friday.
Yes. Actually, I don't know if a lot of people don't aware of that, but the internet was hacked into, and several major companies that are actually responsible for providing internet to some of the East Coast went down for a while. So there was a lot of there for the first, I don't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was, but there for about an hour, I could not get on Facebook. I mean, any computer I used and everything else, and there were certain areas of the internet that I couldn't, or certain pages I couldn't open and look at for a while. And I was like, what the heck's going on? And then later on the day, I hear that that went down. So, but yeah, we were having problems. Maybe it could be something that YouTube is experiencing problems with. I just know that earlier that when we started the show, it wouldn't go through as far as live. Nobody could see us. And I think that suffered. I don't think a lot of people followed us over, which I'm sorry about that. So, because there's a lot of people that said they were going to, from the Maker's Fair, that said they were going to watch me tonight, and I haven't seen new names really pop up into the YouTube chat. So maybe they probably lost it. So, oh well, that's all we can do. It's nothing. That's something.
They might catch it later.
Yeah, they might watch it and catch it later. It's nothing I can control. I mean, you can't control YouTube. So, but that is awesome. So, all right, I think I asked you this on the spirals or the shells that you did last week, but what in the world, would you just wake up one morning, Steve, and go, hey, I'm going to make helix skulls on my scroll saw?
That was a question I had.
No, it all happened probably back in 2003 or 4. I bought a scroll saw and I bought some spiral blades, and I was just playing around with them, testing to see what its capabilities were. And I got to thinking, what would happen if I a dowel and twist it through the blade? And I just started playing around with it, and this is what I came up with. And later on, after I got a bandsaw blade welder, I figured out how to do it on a bandsaw, and I made them bigger.
Oh.
This was actually done on a bandsaw with a spiral blade that I'd made.
You made a spiral blade?
Yeah. I bought a coil of bandsaw blade stock. You know, it comes in a coil. And before I welded the two ends together, I twisted the blade to make a twisted blade.
Right.
You can, I think I actually used silver solder to put the ends together. And I put that on my saw, and I had to remove the blade guides that bandsaw because the blade would, one of the two would get tore up. And
right.
So I pulled off the blade guides, and I rigged up like a roller blade wheel for a blade guide where it would support, you would put pressure on the blade and roll with it. And that acted as a blade guide. And I was able to do this same thing on a bandsaw. And I don't have it here with me, but I've got one that I made. It was like it's a little over 2 feet long, and it's got a total of 7 helixes made out of it.
There was a couple of people out there in the chat saying something about a bandsaw, and I'm like, yeah, it wouldn't work on a bandsaw because it's a straight blade, but little did I know Steve made his own spiral blade for a bandsaw.
Yeah.
You're totally off tonight, Russ.
I know. I'm like, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and not say anything anymore about how something's done because. But I mean, it goes back true. You can't do it on a bandsaw with a straight blade. I mean, it would have to be a spiral blade.
You have to modify your bandsaw.
Yeah. Now,
and something else is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I
go
was
ahead.
just going to say, a lot of people don't understand, though, the Flying Dutchman spirals. Now, I'm not too sure about other companies, but I do know for a fact that the Flying Dutchman spirals are made from a flat blade and heated, and they're actually spun around by a machine to make the spirals. So,
yeah,
that being said, it makes sense for you to take a coil and make a spiral blade out of a bandsaw. That's pretty interesting. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Something else I had to think about. I wondered if a blade like that would be too rough on the tires on the bandsaw around the wheels.
That's what I was going to ask you.
But it works okay. I think it's like just like wheels on a car. You can drive your car preferably on a paved road and no problem, and you can drive your car down a gravel road, and it's a lot rougher, and your tires wouldn't last as long. But it'll work. It'll last a long time before it tears up the tires. So,
okay, so it will eat them up eventually quicker than a normal bandsaw blade, but in the same aspect, you're going to get quite a few cuts out of it too.
Yeah, when I did it, I looked at the tires and there wasn't any significant wear on them.
That's awesome.
You used the size of that bandsaw blade. It was probably one of those small ones, right? Not the thicker ones. The
wider you can't
ones.
even buy it anymore, but Starrett, they used to make it's only 1/16 of an inch thick, or 1/16 inch from front to back, and they don't make it anymore because I guess they didn't have enough people buying it. But I've still got a little bit of that around that last time I tried it, I used that. I guess now probably the narrowest blade you get is like a 1/8 inch.
I was going to say, I've looked it all over, and the smallest blade I've found for a bandsaw has been 1/8 inch. So
yeah,
that'd make a pretty wide spiral blade now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would make a lot bigger curve.
Yeah.
Any more questions? I haven't seen anything. Any more questions from anybody out in the chat for Steve while we're here? I don't see anything out there. Oh, and by the way, guys, give me, I've been noticing we sometimes have, and I'm sure we lost some viewers tonight because of the mix up as far as not having the show start right. because we don't have as many as we did last week. But my point is sometimes when we have 50 viewers or so, I'm only getting like 8 or 10 thumbs up. So I sure would appreciate it after the show if a lot of y'all guys out there watching that are watching in the chat would go by and click that little thumbs up for me. I would appreciate that very, very, very much. I don't
And subscribe to Russ.
And subscribe, yeah, and subscribe to me, Steve, Daryl, all of them on the panel. Donna Presley, he hasn't given out the discount code yet. Are you going to be able to do that before we get off live?
I can go ahead and give you the code, but I'll set that up just right after the show ends, and I'll just make the code just Steve, STEVE is the code.
Okay. So everybody out there that's watching live tonight for a period of time after the show closes, use the code STEVE on his website for the ebooks, and he will give you a 30% discount for watching the show and tonight. And let me tell you, it makes a big difference on the books. So go over there and collect one of them tonight, 1 or 2 or 3 of them tonight. Matter of fact, he'd get all of them. I mean, at one time. So yeah, Steve, and he give him a little bit to what'd you say, about 15, 20 minutes after the show stops before it'll come? Yeah. About 15 to 20 minutes.
Website and set up that code.
What time will you close it out tonight? Let's say midnight or so?
I'll let it go until tomorrow.
Okay. Fantastic.
Let it go until maybe tomorrow at midnight or so.
Great.
I'm not sure what time zone it's on, but I'll have it shut down tomorrow at midnight.
Okay. Absolutely fantastic. I appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody out there does. Everybody does too. Al Forte is out there. Donna Presley's still there. Wacky Woodworks. TJ's Wood Shop. Temple Boy Turnings. Steve French. Hi, Steve. Glad y'all got out there tonight and were able to watch the show. Well, is that about all the explanation you have for the
yeah, that's all I had in mind. The best thing to do is just, if you start messing around with it, just experiment and see what you can get it to do, and that's how you figure things out.
Right.
And
now in the book, all the instructions are there, the angles and everything you need to set up for doing the helix.
Yeah, the ebook, it comes with the Excel spreadsheet. It lets you design the cross section.
Robert Evans is out there. Dan Inglewood. I didn't see that, but he said something about he thanks everybody for the prayers. His son was in the hospital apparently, and he's on his way home doing good. So that's great. Glad to hear that, Dan. All right. So yeah, Daryl and I today spent the day at the Makers Fair in Orlando, and like I said, we'll go over just a little bit to talk about this, but had a great time. Did you have a good time, Daryl?
Oh yeah, I had a great time.
Daryl, you wouldn't believe as much as you need to do to prep for something like this, especially if you've never done one, because I mean, I had to build that stand to hold some of my stuff upright so you could see it, so it wasn't laying all on the table, and some different things. Daryl built a stand. So how much sleep did you get last night, Daryl?
An hour and a half.
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open.
We think.
And let me tell you, this guy, I ain't got nothing on him as far as the gift of gab. He run that gator all day long, boy. But it was really good. He did some turning over there. I said there was literally hundreds, maybe 1,000 people that came through that today and watched us. Would you say that?
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah. What was the best thing? He made this. I made this little thing stand to hold my pictures up and then put them out on the table. Guess what this guy does? He goes through and makes a ladder shelf using solid, what were they, cedar planks or whatever, raw wood, live edge wooden planks to hold his stuff. And I'm like, oh, great.
Cypress.
So I'm like, but the biggest thing he had, I had a metal stand for mine. He had to actually, what'd you have to do?
For the
For your
For
lathe.
what? For the banner?
No, for the lathe.
Oh, yeah. I made a knockdown stand for the lathe because my stand's way too big, and I took the extension off. Yeah, I worked on it until like 4:30, and then because Home Depot didn't open until 6, that's how I got an hour and a half of sleep.
Yeah, he was dragging. He was dragging.
Until people started talking, and then I was wide awake.
It was a nonstop, but like I explained earlier, well, some of y'all might not have heard because it didn't get all for them to see, but as soon as either one of us, he would start turning, or if I'd start playing around the skull saw, you'd just like a magnet, you'd have people standing all around asking questions and everything, which was really nice. I mean, I answered a ton of questions today on how to use a scroll saw. Some people walked up and said, "What kind of saw is this? I've never seen that before." So it was really fantastic to be able to ask questions about how to apply a pattern, how to do this, and what was some of the questions you got asked?
The most common one was, how do I get the shape on the live edge bowls? Which, I really enjoy. I had such a good time. Just, I had this whole elaborate plan for, talking to people about the YouTube thing and all that. But, it looks like these kind of things kind of have a life of their own. I mean, it just kind of, at first it was kind of slow, but then when it took off, I mean, it just took off. And there were times where I didn't even have time to even touch. I was standing there with my hand on the lathe, but I couldn't turn the thing on because we were so busy, people coming up and asking questions and stuff. It was really, really interesting.
I got a question on that, because it seems to me like the people that would kind of come to those shows are woodworkers. You find there's a lot of people there that didn't know anything about wood, or why would they even be there?
Well, now, the Makers Fair. Oh.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say that same thing. I was going to say it's a Makers Fair. So go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, it's a Makers Fair. I mean, it was a mixed bag. I mean, the talent pool there was unbelievable. I mean, you had people that did unbelievable model train setups, people who did leather, ceramics.
Oh, okay.
I mean, It was like a meeting of the minds. I mean, if a Maker Fair comes near you, go. I mean, it is just awesome.
All different kinds of crafts then, right?
Yes, and that's the thing. You would think, and matter of fact, I had a couple of, one of the guys that worked under Ian who was running it, and I'd just like to say his name's Ian Cole, right?
Yes.
I would just like to say a big thank you to Ian. He helped or runs this thing, puts it together, in charge of it. I'm not quite sure what he does, but anyway, he did a fantastic job, and a very nice guy. He was walking around through the booths and everything and making sure everybody was okay, have any problems. And I mean, he could have had other people doing this, but he was out there himself doing that. And I was very, very just admired all of what he was doing. But
on his birthday, no less.
Yeah, and it was his birthday. And a couple of people said that actually we were the first woodworkers that they've ever seen at the Maker Fair. So I don't know how, but yeah, I don't know how true that is or whatever. And then also they said they'd never had a big sponsor like a Rockler come in and do a setup like that. So, and show off. So they did some really nice stuff. They had a nice Mac Daddy laser and they were cutting things. I showed this a little earlier. They made little keychains to give away to people in the shape of the state of Florida, which I'll show it this way first. The shape of the state of Florida with this little thing, and they made me one, and look what they put on it. Russ the Beard. So, but they had probably about a $3,000 or $4,000 laser.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, it would probably it doesn't have a very big bed. I'm going to say probably 16 by 16 or 16 by 12. I mean, it wasn't a huge laser, more or less for hobby specialists, but you're looking at probably $3 or $4 grand easy. But pretty awesome, good time. But I guess the best thing I had was a lot of people that walked up and told me they watched me on my YouTube channel. And I was like, wow, I would and that's another thing at Maker's Fair. is all the gamut of things. It's not just about woodworking. I mean, it can be anything and everything. They had guys there that did 3D modeling. They had some, I've never seen these machines this big. They had one machine doing 3D modeling, or not modeling, but making, is it modeling, or what is it when they make something 3D?
Extruding, I think they call it.
Yeah, and this thing was probably a good 12, 14 foot tall by 3 or 4 foot in diameter. Yeah, and it came down and it was making this bowl. I want to call it a bowl or design something on the bottom. And this thing's, the bowl thing had to be probably 2 or 3 feet in diameter that was making and running. And they had them from that scale of that huge one. I mean, this thing could make a statue, a 6 foot statue without any problem. But they had them from that size all the way down to small table models also for doing 3D printing. Extruding.
One in the shipping container that it even mills the marks off. It prints it prints. You can print anything that can fit in that shipping container, and then it even goes back and machines off all the 3D printer marks off the thing. You remember that one we were walking? It was between the 2 buildings in the food court and that.
Yes.
In that what do you call it? Shipping container.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's what he's talking about is a shipping container like you would have on a semi. It's a shipping container like you would put your stuff in it and ship it overseas. They had this 3D modeling and profiling thing inside that shipping container. That's how big it was.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think he said last night 46 inches or 48 inches wide.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty awesome too. So, can they print cars? They could print pretty much anything. I saw them printing, like I said, these weird complex shapes and whatever. But the height would have been at least, this thing had to be 12 or 14 foot high. So I know it could have done at least a 6 foot statue of something.
Shoot, there's people out there that can print guns with them.
Yeah.
Big one.
So, Steve French says, take a look through a Maker magazine. You won't see but a passing mention of woodworking. Most of the woodworking in there is just incidental parts of completely unreal. Yes, and that's what I said. I think, and I don't think, after I talked to a couple other people, I don't think it was wrong. I think Daryl and I were the first actual woodworkers that do nothing but woodworking at a Maker show. From what I understand, and I know they said that we were the first ones that had ever done that. They'd had it that done YouTube channels.
Yeah,
so that was pretty interesting. Also,
based on my experience today, it won't be the last time I do it.
No, it was a lot of fun. I was worried about when we first got there that we were going to have that much foot traffic, and I told Daryl we don't have that much foot traffic, I don't know if I'm coming back Sunday. But I want to tell you, it was nonstop. My legs, I don't normally stand on my long all the day. And when I scroll saw, my stand today was set up to stand at and scroll saw, so people could stand there and look rather than being down on the floor where I normally sit to scroll saw. So my legs were killing me this afternoon from standing all day.
Oh, by the way, I loaded up 2 of those anti-fatigue mats for tomorrow because my dog is barking too, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. A great time. Daryl's a great guy. Him and his wife, he had his brother there. Your brother was fascinated at the scroll saw, buddy. He stayed over there watching me scroll.
Yeah.
Really fascinated. But had a great time. I really appreciate him and Daryl and his wife. His wife, when I had to go get something to drink or use the bathroom, would sit over there and watch my booth for me. And so that was really nice. Yeah, she came back and she goes, "You're kind of popular." And I said, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, 2 people come by, said they were looking for you. They watched your YouTube and they were going to go make the rounds and come back by to see me." And they did. They come back by. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's the beard. I'm telling you, it's the beard, guys.
You look
it's always the hair because it's also the dreads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta have a good.
I'd say the beard makes you stand out.
Yeah. Opa said they're discriminating against woodworking. That's not a new one. No, they're not discriminating. I just don't. When you think of making things like they make things, it's more of a geek thing. You know what I'm saying? geeks
Well-
make a lot of that stuff because they had everything you could think of. I mean, they had planes, people making model planes, people were making model robots, people were making what's some other stuff that you can think of, Daryl, that you saw?
One guy made an some kind of aerial camera for like for football games. I don't watch football, so I don't know what he's talking about. But there's some aerial camera, and it's apparently it's a big problem to transport it. So he made some kind of transport system, and I was trying my darndest to keep track of it. But I mean, it was when I say technical, I mean, oof, you know. And then another thing about the comment with the discriminating against woodworkers, I don't think that's the case. I think it's just, you know, a lot of woodworkers don't understand what maker means. I mean, you know, I started to look at the full breadth that I make regular, and I noticed that I'm starting to make a lot more stuff than just woodworking. So I started to refer to myself as a maker, and a lot of woodworkers are like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean? So I think it wouldn't normally, I don't think a maker fair would normally have attracted woodworkers until just recently.
Yeah, I agree. Steve said, Steve French, hold on. Y'all are talking too quick over here. Okay, I've got to back up to find it. Steve French, Wooden Stuff, said makers is more of a technology thing. And that's right. It has to do with technology also. He is right about that. And then Opa that said that about discriminate, he was kidding about that. He didn't really mean that. He put LOL at the end. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's a kind of geek technology thing. I mean, but it far out expands beyond just woodworking. There's a lot of other aspects to anything from computer type stuff to you name it. It was
leatherworking.
Leather. There was guys that was made all kinds of stuff out of leather. He actually made a suit of armor, but he didn't have his
mannequin.
Yeah, the mannequin didn't come in time, so he couldn't put it up where you could see it. He made a suit of armor out of leather. He was a leather worker. And the guy that did the bowls ceramic stuff, we walked by last night when we were setting up. We got to walk around and see a lot of the stuff. And beautiful, beautiful ceramic stuff that he makes on his own and fires it, and just beautiful stuff.
Is there a way we can find out where they have another show at? Because
yes,
I'm not that far
I
from
believe
Houston.
I know the one is Makers Fair in Orlando, but I believe it is. Hold on.
We could ask Ian tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll ask him.
I'm only about 80 miles away from Houston. If they have one over here, that's not that far.
Give me 1 second, and I've got my other computer over here. I think it is makerfair.com. Yes, it is makerfair.com. MAKER, all one word, FAIRE. Makerfair.com. And that should be able to go there and find, it says all around the world. So you should be able to go there and find out where they have maker fairs all over. And yes, it is that place because it just popped up, Maker Fair Orlando, 22nd and 23rd. So makerfair.com to find out where there's going to be a maker fair near you. And like Daryl said, I would definitely go and check it out because it is like, it's a lot more awesome than I thought it was. They even had those, you know how they had the rope, Bot Wars or wherever, where everybody created their own, on Discovery Channel had that, where they fought each other and, you know, won. Battle bots. There you go. They even had those there today. So
yeah, you remember that the go-kart they had, the 400 horsepower go-kart powered by a Miata engine?
Yeah, Mazda Miata 400 horsepower go-kart.
400
okay, now we're talking my speed.
Yes.
I got a Miata, and it don't have 400 horsepower.
Yeah, it was a 4-cylinder, and they had beefed it up to produce. It had a turbo charger on it, would produce 400 horsepower.
I nearly bought a turbocharged Miata, and my wife wouldn't go for it.
Let's put it this way: the front tires were nice and pretty and had grooves in them. And Daryl pointed out that they had spun the back tires so much that there was no longer any tread on the tires; they were slick.
Barely counted as slicks.
Yeah.
I think I saw 2 wires coming out of it.
They were originally like the front tires, but they had worn them down to, like, if you've ever been in racing, especially quarter-mile racing, you buy what's called slicks, which is soft rubber to grab and hold. They look like slicks that you would buy for a race car. They didn't, but they were worn slap. They wore the track.
It sounded like somebody beat me to that hold my beer moment.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we went over. I appreciate all y'all out there watching very, very, very much. We still got Steve French is out there, Al Forte, Wacky Woodworks, Opa's Wood Shop. Thank you all very much. We had as high as 40 people at one time, and now we're down to 24. I appreciate all y'all watching very, very, very much. I think I said that already because I'm not as bad as Daryl, but I'm almost.
Oh, you're drooping there, buddy. Trust me.
I got a little bit more. I went to bed last night about the time I got home and got to bed was around midnight. And then I was supposed to get up at 6 o'clock this morning, 5:36, and be out the door. And I woke up at 7. I was going to leave at 8 o'clock and get things done between 6 and 8 that I needed to get done. And my wife woke me up about 7:45 and said, "I thought you were leaving at 8." I'm like, "Crap." So,
Retro.
Yeah. But thank y'all guys very much. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Very, very much. You're welcome. I appreciate you very much for coming at the last short notice, but coming back on to show us this. It was really very, very, very informative. I have got to try this, guy. I wish I had enough time to set something up and take it to the Makers Fair tomorrow and do one of these things. Man, I might be able to. I'll come up because I got some spiral blades.
It's not as hard as it looks.
Yeah, I might be able to come up with something. That'd be awesome. But
I got to break my scroll. You're making me want to go dig my scroll saw out of the storage unit. And
yeah,
I never use it, so that's the one thing I put in the back.
John Shaffner and Russ Meadows over there chomping at the bit. Y'all going to try one of these?
It's possible.
Yeah. John?
Hopefully, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try one too. So pretty cool. All right,
I don't know what I'll do with it, but I'll try one.
Hey, it's pretty. Put it on a shelf and look at it.
Of all the things that I make, this is my favorite thing, to walk up to another woodworker and hand it to him and say, "How did I do this?"
Yeah.
And you'll get some on the forehead.
I'll bet. And John reminded me early, just a little bit ago, thank you, John Shaffner, is one thing I forgot to do at the beginning of the show because we were having so many issues was mention my sponsors. Devobel Technology for web design, development, and hosting. Visit devobel.com and Olivewood 2000 for beautiful, elegant, holy wood and Olivewood. Visit Olivewood 2000 on eBay today. And FastCap for innovative products for the professional woodworker. I know this by heart now. Visit fastcap.com. Thank you all very much. Anybody got anything else before we close this out?
No. Great show.
No.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for watching.
Yep, great show. Steve was very good. And Daryl, get some sleep, buddy.
I was trying to go back out to the after party thing at the makerspace, but man, dude, I was seeing double and triple on my way home. I'm not going. I'm looking at the staircase, ready to get on it.
Yeah.
You'd have been like I was when I used to drink a little bit. You work all night and all day. You come in, you're ready to hit the bar with that beer, and you sit there and you take a couple of sips, and everybody think you drunk because you're the one sitting in at the bar going.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for watching out there and the chat. And thank y'all, Daryl, Donald, John Shaffner, Russ Meadows, Steve, Garrison for being on again. And let's see, we had Charles bailed out on us, Brian Gidney. Who else?
Prince Ahearn.
King Shelly. Yeah, they all bailed out on us. They're party poopers. They couldn't stay around. We only have one thing left to do. And you know what that is? Just give me sawdust. Lots of sawdust. All around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair.
He's so tired he almost forgot the words.
I know. I'm like, good night, everybody. Thank you very much for watching.
I'll see you in the morning.
Bye-bye.